super excited to have her here. I know I said yesterday when James was here, I was like, oh, this is one of the few people that's been to all 4 rounds of Leap In. And we're really honored today to have back-to-back speakers that have been to all 4 rounds. So Paula has been kind enough to give her time to this program for 4 years, and we're so happy to have her because Paula's got some pretty impressive credentials behind her, which I'm about to drop on you. So please make sure that you pay attention to the things that she's going to say for you and the insight she's allowing us to see into her business, and that she'll let you know about yours. So it's my pleasure to introduce Paula Morand. Paula is a 14-time multi-award winning entrepreneur and a 19-time author who is driven to help entrepreneurs and subject matter experts build their brand, grow their revenue, and elevate their businesses. She's been featured on the Lifetime Television, Success Magazine, Profit Magazine, and the Financial Post. Paula is recognized as a global change maker and philanthropist. Named by Richitopia as one of the top 200 most influential authors worldwide, Paula has also received a commendation as one of Canada's top 10 mentor rock stars by Startup Canada. Your success is her joy. So let's dig in with a great session this morning from Paula Morand. Paula, thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to learn from you. The floor is yours.
Oh. Hey everybody, how you doing today? Give me a thumbs up wave or any of that, all of that jazz, or song works too. So you can come off of your unmute at any time, okay? And because this whole time is about you. So are you all ready to, so let me just back up a little bit. So I've been an entrepreneur for 28 years. I started my own business in a hugely disruptive season like you're in, a little bit probably less, but at the time I worked for the Ministry of Education, and the government came in and killed 40,000 jobs, lost my career because I was just a young 20-year-old, and anyway, spun out and started my rehab company, which I owned for 5 years, serving developmentally challenged teens and adults, and sold that. Moved into 3 markets with 27 staff at 26 years old, and then sold that by the time I was early 30s. And then since then, I've been in the industry of just working with businesses to grow and scale and make an impact and find your passion and learn how to, iterate and find new possibilities. And, and I coin it, to dream big and to be bold. So first off, I'm really excited to be here. At the end of this session today, I do make myself available. If you want to have a one-to-one call just to brainstorm a couple things, you can contact me. So I'm going to give you that right now. It's Paula at paulamorand, MORAND.com. And because here's the deal, guys, we're in it together. And I don't know any entrepreneur that has made it that hasn't done it with the support, the network, the insight from other people around them. And so all of you today, I promise you, some of you are actually going to start this journey and be friends for a really long time. And we want to build and feed off the energy of each other. So I really hope that you'll have the opportunity sooner than later to meet each other in person. So I'm just going to actually touch point for a few minutes, if I may, on a couple of things. I want to ask each one of you a question, so just I have better context. I love the fact that we have a really nice cross-section of products and service-based companies, so wonderful. But I want to ask you this. If you could have a headline on any magazine, media outlet, anything, what that would articulate exactly where you want to go. So I want you to picture 48 to 36 months from now. If you could have the biggest headline and you were at the pinnacle of what you feel like success would be to you, where would it be and what would it say? So where would it be? And then one line. 8 words. Give it a go. And then when I ask you a question, I'm going to get you to answer that about your business. I'm going to get you to answer that too. So where would it be? And what would it say? Just give me a little wave when you're done. Maxwell, are you done?
Yes.
Okay, I'm picking on you first. I saw that. Okay, I'm going to choose you first. So congratulations on your company, Face to Face Vintage. Are you in startup or already open?
I'm already online.
Okay,
so my slogan kind of feeds into that.
Okay, so
I'm trying to create an alternative to like fast fashion. So my slogan was, the internet is a greener space with face to face.
okay, cool. So it's going to be a solely online company, or will you eventually you also have a retail option?
I think so. For the next little bit, I think I'm just going to be online, like developing my website.
Okay, and tell me what you wrote down. What do you see yourself? What's your headline and where is it?
Oh, so that was my headline, but I see it like on like a magazine or something like that. Like,
which magazine?
I'm just gonna go for the biggest one, Forbes. You know, I'll be there in a few years. So
okay,
we'll see.
Forbes. And what was the tagline again?
The internet is a greener space with face to face.
Internet is greener space with face to face. Okay. So a couple things for you while it's top of mind. I'll do this probably for all of you. There's a company out of Montreal. Do you know of them? Online, similar, selling repurposed clothing, or not repurposed, but used clothing. And they're like a multi-million-dollar business. So see if you can find them. If not, I'll help you find them, because it could be a great exercise to look at them, because competition's good and there's opportunity within that.
What's their name?
I'm not sure right now, but if you just shoot me an email, it's a female CEO that runs it. And anyway, so the whole sustainable piece is really good for you. So excellent. Well, thank you. Who's ready to go next? Who's going to volunteer? Okay, Chris.
So I want to be an entrepreneur.com. And I want to say that Bernice from Chris Boys, from Bernice, my company, has found a way to contribute millions of dollars to helping animals through their company.
Okay, so the philanthropic approach.
Yeah.
And Chris, so big market, dog market's a huge market. What kind of products are you producing? Is it food or is it?
So it's going to be dog collars, leashes, harnesses, also jackets as well. Like, I just want to expand to a full product line.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
so like it'll be like a whole shop for anything that you want for your dog. Just not food. Anything to do with like apparel.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Multi-million-dollar market. So, are you in startup or are you actually already selling?
I'm actually in 2 weeks, my collars will be ready to sell online. Yeah. So I'm getting them manufactured.
Exciting. Hey, you got to go to market with something and start. So that's awesome. Yeah. Entrepreneur is a great goal. Kristen, founder and CEO of Soul Runners.
Hi. So I would want to be on the cover of Shape magazine. Yeah. And then my tagline would be, how to achieve the ultimate happiness.
How to achieve the ultimate. Okay. And by when?
By when? Oh, let's say 5 years.
5 years. Okay. So not unrealistic at all. Wonderful. And I'm assuming with the passion that you have for running, you've actually taught classes before.
This is my first time teaching, so I had a free run club about a year ago, and then just last month I started teaching professionally. I'm 6 clients now, so.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
And are they virtual or in person?
In person.
Okay, in person. And do you have plans to do virtual coaching?
Yes, I eventually want to have a weight loss program that has like a nutrition guide and just a running guide based on whatever goal they want, so they don't have to do it in person.
Okay, so more like an e-learning YouTube kind of 24-hour access.
Yeah.
DIY kind of. Okay, cool. Lots of opportunity there. And thanks for sharing. Who am I going to pick on? Tyler. Celebration. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Paula. Thanks for your time today.
No problem.
My goal would be to be on weddingbells.ca.
Okay.
And they have a top 10 list of wedding venues and stuff to do with your wedding. And my headline would be new Indigenous owned operating wedding venue changing the landscape of outdoor weddings.
Okay. So thanks for that clarification. I couldn't totally discern kind of what you did. So where's your venue located?
On Chippewa-the-Thames First Nation, which is 30 minutes west of London.
Yeah. Like over by Bear Creek? Is that
that is on the same reserve, and you are exactly the perfect example of how do you know about the gas station? Because everybody goes and gets cheap gas, right?
We support the economy locally is what I'd like to say.
Yeah, no, I just mean it's the only, if you look on a reserve, it's always the only business that gets put up because people come for cheap gas. So I'm trying to change that landscape, which is the same thing that they offer through cheap fuel and cheap tobacco we can do in any business really if you put your mind to it. So I'm trying to share that about the Indigenous land and regarding our tax rules and regulations. We don't have to have all that upcharge. So that's one thing I'm trying to change.
Well, it's actually not a negative. Actually, it could be a value add.
No, it is. That's how I look at it. Totally.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, wonderful. How big's your venue?
How big? 12 acres.
12 acres.
That's the landscape. And I'm just focusing on outdoor because it's more feasible.
Yeah.
Which is planting landscape and trees and just manipulating the land to make it a bride's dream.
Okay. Do you have a pavilion or anything?
I got a quote for it. I'm in the middle of building it. It will be built by the end of the summer. So
okay.
Before winter. So it'll be ready up before 2020 next year is my goal. Because I have to have the pavilion up.
Growing trend in that area for sure. So touch base with me after, okay? Because I have a couple of other ones that are going up as well, kind of in that Northwest London area. So it might be good to be on the referral, right? Like.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like I went to high school at Saunders, and there was a 30-minute bus ride, and who would have thought that London would reach like Lambeth, Delaware? It just keeps getting further and further when it's going to hit the reserve sooner or later. Yeah. And all of my friends work at the gas station. They sell cheap smokes and cheap gas. But to me, what's the difference in if people are willing to drive a half hour for a pack of smokes and a full tank of gas, then I'm pretty sure people drive 20, 30 minutes for a dream wedding. So that's how I kind of look at it.
Yeah. Wonderful. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Christine, lovely to meet you.
Hi, Paula. Nice meeting you.
What's your headline?
Okay, I don't know what magazine because I'm really not familiar with magazine nowadays. But anyways, my tagline is to inspire. I'm here to inspire and empower people in building wisdom and self-confidence so they can have a positive outlook to their future and reach self-actualization.
Okay, so maybe it's featured on Oprah Winfrey.
That would be great.
See, there you go. So maybe it's Oprah Online. I actually have a lot of clients and colleagues who've actually been featured on her online portal. So it's not unrealistic. So
thank you for your encouragement.
Yeah, you put time and effort into your website, I see already as well. Yeah, who's your ideal client?
I'm trying to come up with maybe at least one primary. Doing some research right now. I still need more support on that category. Is the young emerging adults, like 25 up to 40.
Okay.
And my secondary, because I'm very passionate about helping youth. So I have quite a bit of background working with youth, but I don't know if that is the right market to go after, because I have to go to the non-for-profit, and the starter quote is really like hardworking. I used to work there, like you just work your life and you don't get that
Right.
financial reward.
Right.
Then it will be my secondary. If I could find some partnership or develop my own business, then will be the 12 to 16 years old.
Okay. Yes, definitely a nonprofit. So my first company that I told you about, I actually did target that audience with nonprofit partnerships, and was able to do, I don't know, over 3 million in business over about 5 years. So it is doable. So touch point with me after, and I'll just give you some ideas of how to start to approach to organize and plan for that kind of
That's awesome.
service.
Thanks
A lot of
a lot.
work, a lot of runway to try and build up that, but it is doable. Wonderful. Okay, so then Omar and Aaron with your super cool app, Fast Track. I see, Omar, you're here. And so Omar, let's start with you. What is your tagline and where do you want to be featured?
I'm not here today, Paula.
Oh, not here. Okay. Is Aaron here? Or are they both away?
They're unfortunately sick.
Oh, for goodness sakes. Well, their loss. Okay, who am I not? I got to do this with my glasses. Swaraj. Please correct me if I said that wrong.
No, it's Swaraj.
Oh,
Pretty
Swaraj.
good the first try.
Nice
How
to meet you,
how are you,
Swaraj.
Paula?
Very good. Now, what's the future accountant going to, where are you going to be featured?
Maybe this is big, but I like Time Magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, in maybe 4 to 5 years.
Okay.
And tagline, I'm not really sure what it would be. I'd rather leave it up to the editors over there, but redefining income tax services.
Redefining income tax services. And your target audience is Canadian tax law?
Mostly, yes, right now at the moment.
So from a Canadian media perspective, what would be the Canadian equivalent of Time?
Canada Business.
Yeah, Canada Business.
Or is there anything other than that? I'm not sure.
There's the Financial Post, Globe and Mail, Fast Company has a Canada one. I think Success Magazine online has a Canadian one. So yeah, quite a few. So very good. What sets you apart from any other accountant out there?
So I'll tell you a little bit of the value proposition that we have. So Taxably is a tech-based accounting firm that is based on a paperless approach. Our mission is to introduce innovative ways for making taxes easier for people through technology and best-in-class customer services.
Okay. So they're going to upload all the receipts and everything, and you got a system for that?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Well, nice to meet you.
You too.
So, Chintan, hi.
Hi, Paula. How are you?
Good. What's the headline? Love the concept of your company.
Thank you. So the headline so I have got Food Network magazine and
Nature magazine.
Food Networks, yeah. And the headline would be Chef's Preferred Supplier for Sustainable and Stylish Disposable Dinnerware.
Okay.
I'm looking at like in about 2 or 3 years.
And are you startup or are you actually selling already?
I'm selling already.
You're selling already. And retail and wholesale?
Yeah, both.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I have a contact for you that you just reach out and ask me.
Sure.
After. One of my clients is actually a chef who's served in the Olympics and with some of the big Michael Smith and all the other trending chefs. And so she's local here, and she's probably a great insight for you. And we'd be happy to do some mentoring as well. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. And listen, as I'm going along this morning, guys, I will be thinking about the same thing for all of you. Who am I not seeing on here that I have? Oh my gosh, Charlene, you were the very first one. I should have picked you first. So, hello, Real Model Mom. Where do you want to be featured and what's your tagline?
So I want to be featured in Forbes as an entrepreneur, and my tagline is biggest online learning platform for models in the world.
Okay. And where are you at the stage of building your platform?
So I'm at the startup.
You're in the startup? Okay. And sorry, that was for models and actors?
Yeah, I wanted to just hone in on models at the moment just to make it more precise.
Yep. And who's your ideal target age?
12 to 18, say. People who, you know, you're a little girl and you're deciding what you want to be when you grow up, or you're just getting out of high school and you're thinking of what you want to do.
Yep. Can you reach out to me afterwards? I actually have a contact for you here locally who has a passion for that same age group and is also for acting. And so she may be a really good connect for you.
Okay.
And yeah. So, and while I'm thinking of it, Charlene, in St. Thomas here, my friend of mine, her son, this is the crazy thing, guys, about opportunity. I always say opportunity never comes with directions. Raise your hand if you actually had opportunity already and it came from out of the blue. And you're like, what? Where'd that come from? Well, my friend's son opened an Instagram account, posted 2 flippin' pictures, got picked up by a modeling agency in the US, and he has now, in the last 3 years, traveled the world from Milan to Cannes to LA. He lives in LA now, and he has been featured on so many of the top brands as a model and done so much runway work. It's insane. And it was just from a photo with, I don't even think he posted any content with it. He just got, somebody knows his system, and he didn't even have a following really yet. So it's unbelievable how just having the courage to show up, even if you don't know where you're going yet, actually could accrue to some opportunity. So anyway, so exciting. Online platform, anything online right now has such incredible, tremendous potential. And it also has the incredible potential to burn a lot of money and time, right, without focus. So I get it, guys. It's the balance right now of the overwhelm of, holy, I want to go fast and I want to get going and I want to see success, and how do I pull it all together? So, so great questions down, and I'll tackle as much as I can with you today, okay? Anybody here that I have missed and not given an opportunity to chat yet that I'm not seeing? We're good? Okay, so I want to start with asking you the question of, I want you to imagine think of each connection that you have. Maybe it's friends, followers, fans, and they are worth $1,000 in business to you. What would it mean to your bottom line if you could tap into those connections and leverage your relationships? You're probably thinking right now, oh my gosh, nobody that I know is worth $1,000 to my business. But if we start to get into the understanding that everything we do as an entrepreneur is about communication, and it's about trying to serve a big problem of some sort. And so really in the space that I am in, so I'm a business consultant and a brand strategist. We have a team of 7 people. I also own a publishing house, and I just opened a production studio and event center in St. Thomas called Silver Street Studios. And so our whole thing is surrounded of really anchored in personal brand and how do we lift you up as the founders of your company? How do we elevate your expertise? How do we help you tell the story in a really succinct, clear way that you're not stressing out about going out and selling people and selling and selling and selling and selling, but rather how do we start attracting people to come to us? How do we get people so intrigued and excited that they have to follow you and talk to you or understand what you have to offer? Would that not feel good? So starting to get into kind of the mindset of, hey, everybody within my network, and I actually believe this, anybody that's in your network right now or in your contact book, and I know some of you are just starting, so maybe it's tapping into, you know, your relatives, but your first $100,000 in business is probably right within your network. And it's right under your nose. And oftentimes through the years, you know, I could ask this question tons of times to fellow entrepreneurs over the years, and it oftentimes will come back. The people that know the least of what you do are your family and your friends. They don't understand, they have no clue, they're cheering you on, but they never actually thought about taking it to the next level to actually, you know, maybe make some connections. And it kind of dawned on me when I was in my early 30s, when I had launched my second company, and I actually went to my bank manager, Jeremy, who I had been dealing with TD Bank for a long time, and I knew him personally, and I said, listen, can I have like 20 minutes of your time? Because I'm a business consultant, I work with startups. He works with startups, he gives them loans. My gosh, like he needs to know about me. And I never even realized that. I just showed up as the feeble little entrepreneur looking for money. And so I just actually went and sat him down for 20 minutes. And I said, listen, I need you to understand where I'm evolved, where I am right now, and where I'm evolving to, because I believe I could be a good support and make you look fabulous in your business by actually working with some of your clients. And so I walked him through, I did some research and I did my homework and I created, you know, here's what it would look like. And you know what? That was the start of landing a whole bunch of business over the years, working actually with banks as an external service provider. So I always want to like challenge my own thinking, and I suggest the same for you, to just, you know, start to ask these questions. You know, what if is a good place to start, or I really like, what would it look like? What would it look like if, and then go with start having a conversation there and see what happens, right? It's amazing when we start to like cultivate discussion and then start to understand how can we mutually benefit from, you know, doing good and helping, you know, a certain clientele. So again, relationship is so important. Starting to sell here online is a different story because, well, it's not a different story. It's still a relationship. It's a different communication approach to that. So first of all, I want to talk about this morning is how you show up as the founders of your company. It's up to you, right? It's up to you to articulate what you do. It's up to whether you're showcasing it visually in your graphic design or your website, whether it's in your communications, if you're doing email campaigns or you're doing online social media and you're marketing that way. You know, what does that look like? So first thing, so I'm just going to take you through, if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to take you through a few exercises and ideas to get you thinking about who you are, how do you show up, and then we'll dig into the communication side of how do I talk to my ideal audience and how do I start to build upon that. Does that sound like something you'd be interested in? Yeah? Okay. So, I kind of go by this. I'm going to show you a picture here. David, can I share my screen?
Yep, you can.
Yeah? Okay. So, hold on, I got to share. I'm not going to stick you on. Okay. So, sorry, guys. Okay, this is called our accelerator model. So I'm not going to spend, we could spend like honestly the next like 3 days or longer on this. And you guys have already started working on your business model. So I'm not going to, I think you're following Lean Canvas, are you not?
Mostly we've been playing around with startup, Happy Startup Schools canvas as well,
Okay.
but mostly Lean Canvas.
Okay, so you guys have touched on all this. I mean, we really need to, but the first and foremost thing I want you to understand is you want to speak to the big problem. So if I was going to give you any exercise right now to do, is really to identify and understand what is the big problem that you are solving right now for your ideal customer. And even if you don't know who your customer truly is right now, what that avatar looks like, you want to kind of think about what is the big problem that I speak to. And then as part of that research, what is some of the data that can support me speaking to this? So for example, Kristen, running club. What's one of the big problems right now with Kristen for her running club? Well, people have been sitting home for 4 months with COVID and they're all getting fat from the fridge, access to the fridge, right? So we've got some psychological stuff going on with people. They're not feeling healthy. They're overstressed. They know they need to get moving and motivated. They feel like they can't do it well. They're fearful of the future. They're working at home at your desk, trying to juggle everything else, right? So Kristen might have an opportunity to speak to that issue. And so she could speak to it just as a local one-to-one issue, or, there's tons of information out there, Kristen, you could actually speak to it as a big thing. COVID-19 has caused a whatever impact. It could be a dollar figure impact. It could be weight gain impact. It could be health risk impact. So starting to speak to that. So why do we do this? Why do we figure out what the big problem is? Because we really want to tap into the emotional space of our customer. And I go between, as an analogy, oftentimes entrepreneurs make the mistake when they launch, or even as they're growing their business, they're always speaking about from my world. Oh my gosh, I have this company, I do this, I'm excellent at this, I'm wonderful at this. And we don't stop to think about what their world looks like. And what their world looks like is actually more important than my world. So why is it important, Chintan, for companies and restaurants to look at using a sustainable product like your palm leaf platters? Well, you know what? There's a whole lot of discussion of positivity around this. Reduction in landfills because they're biodegradable. We are doing, from an optics perspective, you're doing the right thing, and it's actually reducing its risk mitigation and self-insuring around issues of restaurants and venues reopening in the midst of a pandemic. It's the, maybe you've got companies out there and you totally fit into this. Have you ever heard of B Corp? Anybody? So Chintan, your company would. Maxwell, your company would. Who else here? You two for sure can look into it. B Corp is actually a certified organization in the States who recognizes entrepreneurs that are building businesses that are focused on sustainable climate-focused solutions. It's a whole massive tribe. And anyway, that would be something to totally look into. Not very expensive to be involved with them, and very like-minded people. So from when I talk about relationships of, where's the best place to start plunking myself and fitting into, B Corp would be a kind of a great space for a couple of you guys. So again, what is the big problem that you are solving? Chris, I'm gonna talk about you for a second about the big problem. Yeah. So my colleague who I work with actually is a really big international recognized dog competitor. It's her.
Oh, really?
It's what she does. I'll connect you with her afterwards. But depending on who the ideal target audience is, you can say, hey, listen, my primary client is anybody who loves dogs. which is super wide. And yeah, that could be a good client, but my real niche client might be people who are actually in agility or dock diving or competitive minded sports, who are really looking to look the part, up their game, use quality products, invest in their animals because they're already investing a ton of money in their competitive sports with their fur baby. So maybe your product, depending on, you know, again, how you show up with the marketing of that, maybe it's going to help increase speed. Maybe it's going to have comfort or safety. It could be stylish, whatever. We want to speak to kind of the psyche of the dog owner, right?
Yeah, I guess what I've been thinking about for my thing is kind of like I want the dog to be able to like stand out from the pack, like, because, you know, like, it's just unique styles, because you go to like a big box store and it's just kind of like bland merchandise for your dog. So I feel like, yeah, I'm offering like a different service. And then I really want to like tap into like ethical consumerism, so like by giving back a portion of my profits. And then like I feel like my target market is almost like the people that want to like give, like they want to buy from brands that they feel like they're making a difference at the same time.
Right. So it's values. You're promoting your values based.
Yeah. I never thought of the sports thing. That's a really good idea.
A lot of you guys are values based. So I'm going to shut this slide down. So let me just talk to that quickly. And so again, we want to identify the problem. You do that well, my friends, all the rest of the stuff will come together easily. So another way to approach this is, what are the top 12 questions that your customers need answered? Can you come up with 12 questions? What are those top questions? And one of you guys remind me at the end. I'm going to circle back and I'm going to show you how to use those top questions to start to build some brand strategy as far as your communications go. But what are the top 12 questions that your customers in your perspective right now need answered? And this is a really great exercise anyway, to do what's called a qualitative survey. So in the coming weeks, it'd be really good to reach out to people who you think might be potential clients for you and ask them the question, hey, when it comes to dinnerware and eating out, what scares you the most, right? When it comes to your taxes and collecting the CERB, what do you need answered, right? How do I reduce the stress around that? Is Jesse didn't make it today either, right? With his hot sauce, and neither did Kelly.
Jesse's in Alberta right now, and Kelly's in the middle of packing up to move to China. So.
Oh my word. Okay. Gosh, exciting things. Charlene, same thing for you. What are the 12 questions? You know, the business of kids and modeling, a lot of that's ego driven by parents, right? Or they want to build confidence and they want to create the most opportunities for their kids when they're young, and all of those things. So kind of tapping into those things. Okay, so from there, what are your products? Here's my caution to you. And if I had to interview entrepreneurs that have been in the game a long time, and myself included, I've owned a tech company for 8 years. I've owned a business consulting company for 24 now. I have invested in, a bunch of other, tech or other companies. And the thing that always comes back at the end is, I wish I built a simpler business. I wish I didn't keep adding more and more onto it, because now I'm overwhelmed trying to manage a whole bunch of different things. But I love it. I'm so excited. It's really wonderful. But I'm fried. I wish people knew exactly what I did, and it was just simple. Show up. The great expectation is there of what they're going to get in working with me or buying from me, and we start to build from there. So you have a really great opportunity right now to build a foundation that is clean, simple, understandable, and then we want to build something that's duplicatable. So it just starts to, so it's all like process centric and really driven with, a plan of action. And some of you, you're not going to be there right now, but kind of keeping it in the top of your mind. How do I continually better systemize this So as a service-based company, instead of charging hourly per se, how can I actually systemize this? Though I'm going to build it out to a group-based program. I'm going to do higher investments. Kristen, back to the running. You might be starting with moms in their 40s. They're just working out stress and you're talking to them, but you actually might have a secondary market of female teenagers that are going for sports goals. And I've had a number of clients who actually have very profitable businesses working with high school and university focused students who are vying for scholarships at post-secondary and in there. So again, as your products come in there, we start to develop, what do my products look like? What does my pricing look like? And what could my pricing look like? Is there different ways that I can actually work out my pricing to give me better opportunities? And then places distribution. So what does it look like online landscape? What does it look like as an in-person landscape? What does it look like in print? You know, maybe it's downloadable stuff that you're going to buy, you know, through Amazon or off your website or those kinds of things. So I always look at, when you're making notes here, here's a couple of things. Any client that I work with, we always make decisions only on 2 pillars. Is it revenue generating or is it profile building? And if it's not answering one of those 2 things, then it gets put aside, unless it's operations in the back end of things. But on deciding where you're going to take action on, is it revenue generating or profile building? If it's profile building activity, then can I see a path for possible conversion to revenue generating? So does that make sense? The second thing is as we're talking about revenue generating and profile building opportunities, then we're going to look at 3 other kind of pillars within there. We're going to look at the online environment. What does that look like? So am I selling online or am I profile building online? What does that look? What are those considerations? Is it in person? What does that look like? Whether it's the delivery of service or through networking or whatever, that kind of stuff. And then imprint, what is my communications? What does that piece look like? And so starting to put together, you know, those 2 things. So really easy, really simple. One of the things that will trip us up every time as entrepreneurs is living in that land of indecision. Anybody there right now in some way going, oh my gosh, I'm overwhelmed. I'm just in the land of indecision and I just have no idea what to do. And then people are not people that you just hire. It's like, who's in your network? Who needs to be on your team? Whether you pay them or not, maybe they're influencers, maybe they're service providers, maybe it's your graphic designer, your insurance agent, who is on your team? Start to understand that and honor them and value them and let them keep updated as to who you are and what you're doing. And then we work into kind of promotion and what does our profit look like? And then what are we measuring as success? That's the only thing I want to talk about here at the end. How are you going to measure success? Because confidence is a really easy thing to get knocked down. And it's not all about the dollar bill. It could be success, you know, on getting to stage 3 of my sales process. I've actually made it through I haven't gotten a no, I've gotten another meeting and I've gotten another discussion. And what does that look like? So what does success kind of look like for you? And then we just, you know, keep evolving, you know, strategy, we execute and take action on the things that we've kind of set out as next steps. And then we start to grow. And then it just starts to cycle through over and over and over again. And then we just start iterating and evolving through the continual growth of our company. Any questions or comments so far? Unmute yourself and I'm game to hear. Okay, so we're okay so far? What's one thing so far that's like, that speaks to you?
Want to find out more about those 12 questions.
You want to find out more with the 12 questions?
Yeah, I think that's I'm drilling into because I wanted to do some survey and one-on-one focus group, that kind of thing, to find out what the needs are, like
Yeah.
to provide the right product or service to the potential clients.
Yeah. So there's two kinds of information that you can get. Qualitative is feedback from your intended customers. Great ways, tons of ways to do that. Online, you can start to build a Facebook following. I suggest start with your own first. It's the easiest way to engage. If you're building a fan page or a business page on there, you can write this down too, because I will hit you over the head with it. I'm going to hunt you down and I'm going to find you, my friends. Consistency, alignment, and repetition. Think of a car. You want to start to drive it forward and you want to start to see people engaging, because that is the goal. Number of likes, I don't care about. Number of followers, I don't care about. I have a friend who I know, a colleague, accountant, who built an online business, had only an email list of 900 people. His first launch, he made $35,000, and now he's up to $500,000. And only selling to fellow accountants on how to run their business better. So I'm sharing this idea with you that you don't need a big list of people, you need an ideal list of people. And so for some of you, it might be, your first 10 customers, build those relationships, keep communicating with them. And, tactics, that's a whole other story of how do I communicate, right? Maybe some of your market's online, so maybe it'll be a combination of, maybe I'll do some Facebook ads, maybe I'll start to do engagement stuff that I'm going to do polls and ask for feedback and just constantly, or maybe I'm doing direct phone calls. Listen, I believe the art of the phone call is lost. How many of you talk to people and sell on text? Very common, very common. But I actually think a way to disrupt right now is to actually pick up the phone and call people. Because a lot of people are not talking by phone anymore. It's like this wall. And I think there's an opportunity there to do that, or to do the Zoom calls. I mean, we're in a whole landscape of, everybody's disrupted right now. So now why not disrupt some more, right? So, okay. Okay, so here, as far as the brand building, I want you to identify what are the 4 characteristics that you want to be seen as. And then this is going to tie into kind of your marketing decisions as well as your communication strategy. And listen, I'm a really big fan of, before you put money, a lot of money, into any type of marketing, and you're probably all, and this is me making an assumption, but you're probably all quite bootstrapped in certain areas of growing your business right now. So you really want to be smart, right? You know what? If you can actually articulate who you are and what you have, you don't need anything right now. Your best investment right now is you. Your best investment is learning to talk about your offering and not over talking about it, but talking about it succinctly and clearly and in the least amount of way, so we can elicit what from the customer or from the person that we're talking to. What do we want to get? I'm pointing at you, Maxwell. Do you go by Max or Maxwell?
Maxwell, if you want to get into technical terms, that's like how I introduce myself if I want to be more fancy.
Oh, okay.
Honestly, whatever.
Okay.
You're just trying to solicit emotion.
And how do we know if we've done that?
By getting a reaction. I feel like purchases are always like reactionary.
Right. If they ask a question, that would be a good sign, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Or if they're agreeing with what you're saying, could be a good sign, right? Or if they're stopping and thinking and you're seeing them processing, could be a good sign, right? So we want to get, that's all we want to do. We want to get to that, response so we can continue the journey. So for example, the boys aren't here today that built their Fast Track app, but I'll use them as an example. Say Fast Track has a big goal of getting into FedEx. And they actually want FedEx to adopt, maybe as part of a pilot project of maybe one of their subsidiaries, smaller companies, because they'll have their own system. FedEx is the total wrong example here because they have their own investment into that, but maybe, well, just gonna use it anyway so I don't waste time. Or maybe it's a restaurant doing deliveries right now, and we wanna sell to Kelsey's across Canada. Are they gonna win that yes from that standpoint in the first sell? No. They probably have a 9 to 12 month runway, as we call it, of building conversation around the value of implementing Fast Track into their organization. Because it might go from, hey, the gatekeeper in this thing might be the chief technology officer. So the CTO meets with them first, finds out about the app, then he gets more information around, you know, the legitimacy of the code and the working and, you know, what stage it's in. And then it's going to go to a team of something else to try it. Then they may go to security clearances. Is this actually possible to even use this app and go through a whole security scan? And then it may get into, listen, we'll try you out on a beta on this small of a group for 90 to 120 days, see if it works, and then it's a rollout. So, you know, even to get to that stage, maybe like a 9 to 12 to 18 month process, depending on what they're dealing with right now. So should they give up though? Should they give up? No, because the longer term win on that, right? Logistics industry, huge and growing, and probably one of the biggest growth curves since the pandemic hit is logistics-based companies and solutions, because there's more and more needed. So they're in a great timing for that piece. So each one of you are going to have a different life cycle as far as your sales go. So identifying what are the 4 characteristics that I want to be seen as. So it may be all of you in some way should be seen as knowledgeable about your industry sector, right? Like, you know your stuff. And even if you don't know your stuff, we need to figure out how to show people that you're passionate about this space that you're in. What are some other characteristics? Christine, what's a few that you picked?
Characteristic I want to be seen as genuine.
Okay.
Friendly.
Yeah.
Integrity.
Okay.
What else? Non-judgmental, open-minded.
Okay. So do you position yourself as a life coach?
Yes.
Okay. So as a life coach, are those good characteristics, my friends?
I think so.
Approachable, genuine, integral, and non-judgmental?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. As you get going and build your skill set, you know, there's other life coaches out there that are, you know, they're kick-ass, they are hardcore, and they are going to keep you accountable and actionable to make those changes. Certain people don't want that hard personality. There's people out there that might be heart-centered entrepreneurs or professionals who are trying to make very difficult changes and not managing change well, who want a life coach that can understand and relate to what they're going through and help them gently move through it to make change. And so by choosing kind of characteristics like that, we actually start to understand, okay, if you gave just those 4 characteristics to like your graphic designer, or as you start to think about, oh, I'm going to start writing blogs, I want to get my expertise out there, I want to tell people to share about, you know, what I'm all about. This is the personality. We're building your personality, and it's authentic to you. So it's really important because it will start to affect your color choices for your brand, how you speak, what your writing or your talking looks like, or, you know, if you start doing vlogs, all that jazz. So again, starting point, what are your 4 characteristics? The next thing I want you to ask or answer for yourself is, what are your top 4 themes? What are you passionate about? Doesn't have to be just your business idea, but what are your top 4 themes, as we'll call it, is what you're passionate about. Suraj, how about I pick on you? Can you give me a couple?
I'm just writing right now. Top 4 themes. I feel number one would be helping as many people as possible.
Do what?
To take care of their financials, I would say. Like to have a good financial literacy about their at least own financials to start with.
Okay.
2 would be definitely a paperless approach. So this would be like, it's helpful for clients just so that they don't have to come all the way to sign paper or like scan those kinds of things, but also it's good for the environment as well. That's the top 2 I can think of right now. I'm thinking of the other 2 as well.
And then anything else personally that you're passionate about?
I'm very passionate about music. I make music on the side as a hobby.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Suraj, what if I said, oh, and what were your characteristics?
The first one, so saving time for people.
No, I don't want that. What about you? If I had to describe you, what would that look like?
I guess ambitious, kind, helpful.
Yep.
Yeah, something like that on that way.
Okay, so Suraj, he's got a personality building, ambitious, kind, helpful, musicals might be another one, right? Smart, knowledgeable, whatever. And then he's got these themes. You know, do you know Dave Ramsey? Do you know who that is?
No.
So Dave Ramsey is a finance guy, and he's got an Instagram following of millions. He's Canadian, actually. His whole thing is helping people live debt-free. It's got a whole system. You follow it. It's all about living debt-free. And he's got a tribe that he's built and written a number of books. And it's almost cult-like. It's such a big following. And so he's got it there. So that's, for him, it's all about discipline. It's all about understanding financials, and it's all about supporting one another and community. So for you, instead of just talking about taxes all the time, would you follow Suraj, or would you just unfollow him if he talked about tax tips every day? You'd unfollow him, right? Like, boring, so boring. And you're not boring, Suraj. You're ambitious. You're kind. You're out there. So we get you do taxes, but who are you? So one of your 4 themes could be entrepreneurship. One of your 4 themes could be around, are entrepreneurs and businesses your main focus as a client?
I do no. Even clients, like a normal, regular people, are also clients. So in the next year, we will be trying to have a deal with a few other businesses as well. But right now, it's all B2C.
It's all B2C. Okay, so maybe one of your themes is family. Maybe one of your themes is music. Maybe one of your themes is entrepreneurship. If it's family finance is one of your themes, then Suraj could start spinning that out to say, oh my gosh, maybe he's got as it starts to roll out to marketing, he might post a photo up there one day of a swimming pool. So many families have a goal of creating their own oasis at their home. What would it feel like to be debt-free so you could do an investment into this? Creating your next staycation, right? And so we want to start to cast the hope, cast the vision. What does the transformation look like that you can make for your customers? how can you transform their life to make them feel better, feel more comfortable or confident, feel successful, feel in control, feel like they're not a loser, feel like they've overcome? What is that transformation that you are speaking to? That is so important, and that will tie to the problem that you're solving. So it all kind of goes hand in hand. Now, what do I do with this, Paula? This is like, this information just seems like all over the place. Well, I want you to write down this idea called 12 by 4 by 5. So once you figured out who you are, and a lot of you, honestly, you guys all, I could look at all of your businesses right now, no word of a lie, and find opportunity for you. Like, you're all in really cool markets, and you're all timely. You know, I always ask the question, if I'm going to start something new, am I timely? Am I relevant? And is it actionable, what I have to offer? And so, you know, is the timing right? Am I relevant? And is it actionable? And if I can think about it in that case, then I'm always thinking about, you know, my client's world, whether it's B2C or B2B. And some of you are going to have both customer profiles. Some of you, how many, raise your hand if you sell both to B2C customers and business. Okay. So the 12 by 4 by 5 goes like this. The 12 are your 12 questions. The 12 questions, actually, if you print out a calendar for the whole year, guess what? Your 12 questions become a question for every single month. This is internal working for you. You're not going to go, hey guys, the question of the month is, how do I deal with my overwhelming sense of stress where I want to pull my hair out, right? You wouldn't post that online. So this is your internal planning. So your 12 is your 12 months, a question for every month. Now, what happens is the 4 is the 4 weeks. So what we want to do is take that question for the month. So maybe the question is, how do I deal with stress? Then we want to break that down deeper to say, okay, what are 4 other concepts under how do I deal with stress? So help me out, guys. Come off and we'll just, what are 4 other questions we could build out of that? Anybody? Yeah, Maxwell, I'm pointing at you again. Every time I point, it's to you.
How to manage my time better.
Okay, yeah. How do I develop good time management strategies? Okay, somebody else.
How to de-stress at the end of the day, like, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? You can just brainstorm these out and reword them for yourself later, right? Strategies to de-stress. Okay, who else?
How to keep yourself motivated.
Okay, and one more. Anybody? Anything goes. How do I handle stress?
How to manage relationships in your life.
Okay, yes. How do I manage relationships? Okay, so picture that on your calendar that you've printed off. Write them in there, whatever, on the Sunday or along the side. Create your own document. You're going to put each one of those. What was my scribbling's so bad here. What was the first one, Maxwell? How do I develop
better time management?
Oh my gosh. What I scribbled down was not what that looked like. Okay, so week 1 could be, how do I develop better time management? So the 5 then, 12 by 4 weeks, and then the 5 are 5 days. So, and it could be by 7, it could be by 2, it could be by 3, it doesn't matter, but I'm just doing 5, considering like work week. So if we went across then, how do I develop better time management skills? So just throw me out here then. What are some ideas around time management from your lens, which would be something good to talk about? Kristen, what's one thing that can help with time management?
Creating a calendar or creating a schedule for yourself.
Okay, so scheduling, how to schedule effectively. Okay, somebody else.
I find with time management, actually the best way, like one of the best ways is to keep yourself accountable. Like have, I actually like setting meetings with someone, making sure you have things to like wake up for, like, you know, like setting like things to keep you accountable. Like, hey, I need to meet this person for a meeting at 9 a.m. So you're going to be up in the morning, you know, like I just, it's really good to meet with key people. Like, yeah, like with Leap, like I'll meet with David, I'll have an appointment. So I know that I have to get like all this work done before I meet with him for my business. So I think that's really good to keep yourself accountable.
Oh my gosh, you just said like 4 potential things there. Accountability rocks, setting an intention for the day, follow through, mastery of following through, and again, I scribbled something down too fast, and something else.
Wow.
So
I didn't even think of that many.
Start to break that out. Somebody else, give me an idea. Yeah. Chintan.
Yeah, so it would be prioritizing tasks or projects.
Yeah. Prioritizing. Yeah. Good. Anybody else? Okay, so let's just use these right now. So if you had 5 across then, if the question of the week was, how do I develop better time management skills? So day 1 is scheduling effectively. So this is actually, oh my gosh, you guys, this is like so exciting. You have no idea. If you did this exercise and even did it with each other, this actually gives you content for like the next 3-4 years. What? Yep, it is. I'm going to show you how. That felt really good to say that. Did you want to try that too? What? Okay. So scheduling effectively. So maybe actually you've got a whole bunch of opportunities of what you're actually going to share on social media. So maybe one is you're going to actually pull up your favorite app, and you're going to post a picture of, this is my favorite app. Or maybe you're going to post a picture, and on social media, I do this all the time and I get hundreds of responses. I'll put like, answer this. What is your favorite app for time management? Right? And they get all this discussion starting to happen. That's actually one thing that you could do to answer this question that day. Maybe another thing of how to schedule effectively is you're going to write a blog about it. Hey, you know what? This is my journey. Holy mac, I was bad at this, but this is actually what I've done to try and figure out what works for me. So, you know, here's my 4 steps today to figure that out. Number 1, you do you. Got to figure out what works for you. Number 2, blah, blah, blah. Write down something in one spot and don't forget where you put it, because you just go into one spot every day, or whatever all that looks like. Maybe scheduling effectively is going to be to the negative. Maybe you're going to do a vlog and get on a video to say, oh my gosh, you guys, this startup life is kicking my butt right now. I am overwhelmed. I just screwed up and I missed an appointment. I can't find my car keys, and I just can't manage my day. I need some help. Anybody out there have some insight they can give me to just help me be like, you know, show up better, and I got to figure out this better. And then again, sometimes talking to the negative actually will elicit some support and help. So just on that one Monday, you've got a whole bunch of different ways you can speak to this one thought. And then we figure out, okay, what channels am I going to use to do this? Well, you might say, and I'm a big fan of 2 to 4 things. Like, that's it. Like 2 to 4 things, measure it for 90 days, see if you're getting engagement and following through. So you might just say, you know, maybe I'm going to post on Instagram about scheduling effectively is a pair of your running shoes. And under your post, you're going to say, listen, I got to figure out my new schedule today. And the best way I get to do that is to go out for a walk and a run and think first. and then clear my head, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to get focused on what I need to do. Are you wearing your good pair of shoes today? Get outside and blah, 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 right? Whatever that looks like. Maybe on Facebook, you're going to do the poll, as I said, or ask for feedback. Maybe on LinkedIn, if you're going after some professionals, it could be maybe I'm going to just write a blog or an article or a post about this today. Or maybe around scheduling effectively. Man, I'm not good at that, but I'm going to go to Success Magazine, find an article about scheduling effectively, and I'm going to share that on my social media feeds because, you know, many people will think that you wrote it, first of all. Number two is you're seeking out information to help your audience answer those questions. And you've chosen something to show up consistently, aligned, and repeatable every single day. And so if you're not knowing what to post, this gives you an idea of creating content. Okay, give me some feedback. What do you think?
Paula, just want to give you a quick 5-minute warning.
Yep. What do you think, guys? Useful tool?
Yeah.
I'm personally really excited about. I want to try it. You can never have enough content, and I'm really interested in trying it.
This is such a cool process, guys. And if it gets like it's such, you just need to take time. And if you don't want to do the whole year, do the first 90 days. Here's something. Sorry, Maxwell, I know you're going to talk. Here, you tell me what you're going to say, and I'll hold what I was going to say.
I wasn't going to ask a question just yet. I was just trying to word it.
Oh, you were? Oh, okay.
Yeah, the gears are working.
So here's the really cool thing with this exercise. Not only is this content for kind of your marketing side of things, but I want you to think about just the amount of doing this process of thinking through your 12 questions, talking to your customers, breaking it down. This is going to inform you and give you confidence of your wisdom because you've got this whole plan. It's going to help you with sales conversations. It's going to help you with content development. It's going to help those of you that are building like online programs or some type of online product for sale. This is actually the first step of developing content, right? This could be content in here to spin off a book or a free ebook download. Maxwell, because I just looked at you, you know what? There's a whole crew, the whole city of Mississauga. I just spoke for the city and their leadership team about 8 months ago, and they actually have a whole massive strategy around no more clothing going to the landfill. So they have massive, huge warehouse of stuff. And I don't know where they're dispersing it to, but right now in your mind, you might think of yourself as the small entrepreneur that are you know, reusing, I don't know the terminology, but taking clothes, recycling clothes, not recycling, but what's the word? I don't know.
Reselling or thrifting?
Sure, thrifting or reselling, but guess what? You may actually become the knowledge expert down the road of the value of thrift. You're like the thrift clothes expert, and that could actually fit into the space of style, image styling. It could fit in the space of sustainability and eco-friendly. It could fit into the stage of repurposing those into masks or into something else. You know, it could fit into the crafters market. Like, it's amazing what that looks like.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm from Mississauga, actually, so that's really cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
I do feel like breaking that wall from like being a business and like kind of being personable online, like can really attract followers. Because like, I don't know, like with what I'm struggling with my business right now is like I'll have people ask me like, oh, where's your store or something like that. They don't really know that it's just one guy running a thrift shop. So I really want to get that across, a more like personable aspect of my business. So I found that really helpful today. So thank you.
Good. The other thing, Kelsey, we've got 15 minutes for questions still, right?
Our next speaker is coming at noon, so.
Oh, okay, we don't. Okay, so the final thoughts then. don't like, get out there, guys, be bold. Here's the thing with media. You want a story? Tell somebody about it. I think I'm a great story for you. I'm a young entrepreneur, and this is what I'm doing. I'm going to launch, and this is what I'm passionate about. And, you know, write a really clear, succinct bio. If you want me to look at your bio, I'm a good bio writer. If I do say so myself. If you want some help, shoot it to me. I'll edit it out and try and recraft it for you if it needs it. And, you know, really, I'm so excited for you. So I wish we had more time. And, but anyway, if you want to connect with me, you know how to do it. And I'd love you to just, you know, keep in contact. I want to celebrate you and, you know, share about what you're doing.
So unfortunate that we're running out of time, but it's very promising that you allowed us and opened the door and allowed us to knock on you and say, hey, can you check this out? Can you give me ideas? Can you give me feedback? That's amazing.
Well, you know what? We're in it together, and I had people
you.
help me along the way, and so I'm here too. So do me one thing before we hang up. Can each one of you just give me one thing that you're going to take away in action today? Christine, we'll start with you because you're in the Hollywood Squares top left corner.
One thing, that is a tough question there. I think I wrote down this is my to-do. So this is the first thing I will do is to use that question of the month, because that's I've been doing too. I write blogs. So I will use one theme and then spin off to different things. And then I collect them back and become a book or like some sort of like downloadable worksheets. So this is more a concrete way to do it now. And then I'll integrate the social media part.
Okay,
So
good.
that's one take.
Thank you. Maxwell, one thing.
The big takeaway for me was just ask more questions to myself and to my customers. That's probably what I take away.
Be inquisitive. We think our customers know what we're doing, guys, and they don't. So think that, and anybody, if you're selling to anybody over 50, they probably don't even remember. So you actually have to, like, you know, tell them a few times. Suraj, one thing.
Like Maxwell said, like to help to understand your customers, and also the 12-4-5 rule. I love that.
The 12 by 4 by 5. Good. Yeah. Chris, what about you?
I'm honestly like, so it's so hard to pick one thing. I'm just really thinking about like ways to collaborate and ways to come up with so much content. Like we even we had an exercise where you can look it up online about questions that people are actually asking about your topic.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that was really cool to like go into that and then like come up with all these questions. I feel like, yeah, I do have a problem with like coming up with content on social media because sometimes you don't know what to say, but I think that's awesome. Like I got a lot of great information today about that, and also the products.
Okay, good. We have to move faster. Tyler, what about you?
Myself, it was the 12 questions. You reassured me that I'm on the right paths. I've been making up questions the past few days, so I'm up to 6 questions about just more information I would like to inquire about the wedding industry, and just your helpful knowledge and your kindness to open up your networks to help us out. So I really appreciate that, and I look forward to reaching out to you in the future. So thank you.
You're welcome. Kristen.
I think what spoke to me was when you were talking about the value of people that are already in your network and how you should be looking into them a little bit harder to help you get ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And huge fitness network here in the city. And so I have, oh my gosh, I can connect you with a number of people, just even from a mentorship and maybe from a plug-in potential.
Please, yeah, that would be great.
Okay, and who else did my guy? Oh, Charlene. Charlene, what are you taking away today?
I like the 12-4-5 approach for social media, and I like the collaboration that's available.
Wonderful. Well, guys, this was a real pleasure today. So remember, this is in your court if you want to reach out to me. And I say that actually to anybody that you want to reach out to. It's on, the onus is on you. So reach out, start asking questions, be inquisitive, show interest. Great way to grow connection with people is to show interest for them, comment on their posts, connect with them, do some research, understand where they're at, and helping one another to leverage opportunities is so vitally important to all of us, you know, being successful together. And Kelly, nice to see you. I'm sorry we missed you for the session today. I'm getting kicked off in a minute here. So listen, I wish you all the best with your ceramics and light design company and your big move to China, from what I understand. So be safe.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you for a brief moment.
No problem. Kelsey and David, thank you so much. It was lovely to come back to see the Leap Junction. You know, you guys are awesome, and I love what you're doing at Leap In, and I'm here, whatever you need.
Paula, thank you so much. This was awesome and amazing. And if I can share my key takeaway, I thought it was really wonderful how you talked about storytelling for our businesses, but made everyone consider their own personal values to bring those into that story, because I think that's something that sometimes we try and distance ourselves, and I think that was really great. I saw all of you, myself included, writing lots of notes, so that's really wonderful. Paula, we really appreciate it. As always, you're wonderful. If I can give you all a piece of advice, you are not going to get the opportunity to reach out to people of Paula's caliber every day. So please take her up on that offer. She is incredible and wonderful and kind, and is offering you a really big opportunity to connect with her. So do it.
Okay, guys. Cheers. Have a great day.
Thank you,
Thank you so much, Paula.
We really appreciate it. Everybody wave.
Bye, guys. Oh, wait. Can I take a picture?
Yes.
Guys,
Yeah.
wave. Here, wave. I'm going to take a picture. Okay, sorry. There.
Oh.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Bless you. Take care.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you so much, Paula.
Dave, we got Rachel in the waiting room. Nope, you're muted.
It was Omar, not Rachel.
Oh, okay, let's